Welcome back to V-Rule. Today is Wednesday, and that means Wednesday Works of Art. That's right, we take a look at each set in the Pokemon TCG and go through the artwork and see how it stacks up. This is all just my own opinion, so you can love it or hate it. Doesn't really matter to me, but it might actually inspire you to look at things a little bit differently. Not just how it's playable, not just how it's priced out, but maybe there's something to be said about the visual aspect of it. The Scarlet and Violet era is like nothing else we've seen before. As far as the artworks, they are off the charts. And this week, we're looking at Paradox Rift. Let's dive in. So, Paradox Rift, here we go. We have the Pokelector here. You get a nice view of all the different sets. This is a great resource to go and be able to check out the different cards. Stellar Crown doesn't have them there because it's so new. There's speculation about what cards are there, but Pokelector does a good job of waiting until it's fully confirmed what we should see in the sets to be able to go there. So as new sets come out, I will jump the gun and go there, but for the most part, I'm working from most modern going backward in time to the older sets, looking at artwork only. Now when we look at artwork, it's going to vary on how we approach this. For Paradox Rift, we can see that the EX cards, they are a form of artwork. The basic cards are a form of artwork, but there's so many to review that we need to be a little bit more selective about how we do this. So I go beyond all of that main set into these different special illustration rares, gold cards, full arts, things of that nature. We do have a lot of them listed here. There are a few that I really just can quickly set aside, and there's so many in this set, we're going to have to move quite quickly on how we do this. So I'm going to bring you over here into our list. We have them broken down into true artwork, still art, neutral, or not going to last. Now I'm going to throw in here quite a few because there are several that I think are just not going to stand the test of time. When we look back on this set in 10 years, the ones that stand out as true artwork or in the still art category, those are going to be the ones that I think we'll see long term, in my opinion, as great pieces of art from the set specifically. And not going to last means they're fine, everything's good there as far as a card, they might be good in the TCG, they may have value as a card as a whole, but visually, from the aspect of art, I don't know if they're going to stand up in comparison within that set. That's the breakdown. Before we get into that, I want to make sure you have a chance to pick up some new artwork out of Crown Zenith. The Glaring Articuno, that right there is a beautiful piece of art, but there are also many in the set. Maybe you'll pull a Gold Giratina, I don't know. That's going out to one lucky winner. We have two Stellar Crown 3-pack blisters going out to another couple winners, and a Pokemon Mystery Prize. Nobody's cracked the case on that one yet, but that's okay. There's still time, and ultimately, we have 4 winners, and somebody's just going to get it. So eventually, somebody's going to know. We need 2,500 subscribers on the channel. That's what's going to set this whole thing off. And since I've gone after this giveaway and achieving that level, we are beyond the halfway point of the subscribers needed since this started. So do your part, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below. If you want to enter the giveaway specifically, go over to this video here. That's the one you need to leave an additional comment over there and make sure that you'll be entered. That's where I'm pulling the winners from. It's easier to have it all in one place. That's where we started this off, so that's the video you need to comment on. If you want to say anything, tell me what piece of artwork you like out of Paradox Rift. That's why I know you came from this specific video to head over there for your chance to win. But 4 lucky winners, and I'm hoping maybe it's you. Let's get back into this here with the Paradox Rift set. Again, so many here. So we're going to jump into, you know what, let's skip over to this. Let's go to the gold cards. This is going to be very easy. For my purpose here, in my point, the least favorite of them are the ones that are of Pokemon. I actually like the different item and trainer cards. What do we got here? Tool and item and stadium cards. I like those even more. So automatically, let's throw those 3 gold Pokemon up into our not going to last. Now, they may last, I don't know. I think the full art versions of these exact cards are better already, just off the bat. I think they're better. It's difficult to say how well this is going to hold up as far as artwork, but there are a few things that really stand out in obvious artwork. I think the fact that this has such a landscape, a lot more going on, the gold trim bleeding through everywhere, that beach court is actually pretty nice, but this is not really a high-level piece of art, so we're going to see where that lands here. The luxurious cape, obvious difference between blue and yellow, high contrast, great. You got the gold surrounding the swirl. There's a lot here, so it's visually engaging. As a piece of artwork, it shows up as well. These two over here, the counter catcher and the reversal energy, they have a similar feel with the swirls, a lot more happening, engaging in that. Again, I don't know if these have what it takes to be considered art, but they do kind of all land in a more neutral category. However, I'm splitting that into two. I'm going to bring up a couple here into the neutral and a couple into the not going to last. Not that it's not worth it, but just on the point of the gold cards, they don't have a huge following. They are hard to pull, and usually they're a better price point. So it's a little bit surprising that they don't have the kind of following, since they have such horrible pull rates for these. So at right now, our highest one, $9 on market price here for the counter catcher, and it's probably just TCG related, not even artwork specific. So meaning it's playable. That does it for the gold cards. Now we can move over into those full arts. I'm going to look at this pretty easily here. Any of these, shiny Terra Pokemon, whatever they are, those have already been set aside. I didn't even want to touch it. They all land in the same category for me. There's a full art version to complement them, and in my opinion, the full art version does better. So I think there's a little bit more to the colors, the contrasts, all of that. So let's go through the full art Pokemon here. We have this very similar feel on the future ones. The ancient will also have a similar feel on them. And then we have these others. Those others are just simple full art Pokemon having a background, a little bit more to it. We get into the illustration rares that do this stuff. So I'm going to put a lot of these in that not going to last, and maybe even into that neutral category, but the Pokemon for the most part are moving into that not going to last. There's a couple that stand out into just bumping it up to the neutral right here. That Tapu Koko. Let's see if we got any over here. I don't think we make the cut, so let's make that maneuver over here. When we get into the full art Pokemon, we are going to jump in here. There's nothing wrong with these. There's just so many in this set, here, that I think it's difficult to give such high marks to all of these. So if this was any other set, I really think there's a lot going for it, but there's just so many competing for the attention of what would be of a high value artwork. This is really just at a glance what stands out, what do I like, and it becomes very specific in that way. We go through the trainers. There's a lot more happening here. These almost all hit in the same category, although it's just really a quick glimpse that I kind of go, not so much. So when there's more scenery, more happening, that kind of tells me there's a little bit more to it, a little bit more depth, a little bit more dramatic on the lighting, or creating a mood there. But we have the Chantel here, the Rika. I know Rika's popular, but for whatever reason it just doesn't speak to me the same way. We're going to run through these fairly quickly as well, moving into the neutral or not going to last category. So these all kind of hit similarly to me, creating a little bit more depth to the image. Yeah, I know I'm going to tick some people off with these decisions, and that's okay. I just don't feel that over time these are going to be the ones that scream beautiful artwork for us here. So now we're down to the illustration rares and special illustration rares. If you've held on this long, I'm glad you did. This is where the fun comes in. Let's jump into what do we have? The illustration rares. To be honest, I think there's a lot more to be said here than there might be in the special illustration rares, because even though there's special illustration rares, there's a lot more simplicity here. So I will say there's only a couple of these that hit neutral, but we are looking at neutral and above here. None of them are going to be doing that, not going to last. I don't know if it's for me specifically. Golisopod has just never spoke to me as a Pokemon. I don't know if I could see that one being in the higher echelon of this category here, or this review. Iron Hands, similar. Pokemon's just so tiny. The landscape's not doing a whole lot of favors. It becomes busy, even though it is somewhat simple, it becomes busy. And then our Sandy Shocks, a little too simple, where I'm not getting enough out of it. So as far as 3 special illustration rares, those are headed for neutral. Sorry, I feel bad. I almost feel bad. I don't feel bad. It's my opinion, and who cares? you can agree with it or disagree with it, and to be honest, I think that's fair. There's one more that was sitting out there, Garchomp EX. One of the bigger Pokemon from the set to be looking after, but that swirl is just a little too basic for me to say that has some sort of legs as being artwork. Now, the 2 biggest pulls from this set, those are moving up only because it's very easy to see why they end up being the biggest pulls of the set. Now, that seems to be the case pretty frequently here when it comes to the Scarlet and Violet era. The artwork seems to be speaking volumes here. Roaring Moon EX and Iron Valiant EX, I'm surprised to see how far that's actually dropped. Wow, these are in a great pickup price. That aside, I believe they're the two biggest pulls from the set as far as chase cards and price point right now. I may be wrong on that. I haven't looked in a while. Roaring Moon is definitely the highest one, but there's so much more happening in the artwork and a lot of drama here. Very high value lighting coming from directly behind, nice highlights there, and then the fill. We don't have the source of light, but there's a fill to see our Pokemon there, and you just get a little bit more out of it. So those end up singing to most of us, and that's why they end up being the chase cards there. Still art, I'm going to go right over here. This one, when it first came out, I thought looked great. I like the fact that it's kind of a gold card without being a gold card. So I did enjoy that from this portion of the set here. That we had that little crossover. Man, those neutral and not going to last are just too big of a category. The trainers aren't going crazy for me, but I think there's so much happening that they have a lot of value in this perspective of being still art. All right. I don't know what it is about Professor Turo's, but this one, it's like over dramatic, really interesting scene, a little snapshot out of time here. This one actually kind of speaks to me being a little bit more of the, it's an artwork from the set. I know that might not be your favorite, and you may not agree with that as far as trainers go. That's okay. Everybody else is kind of landing in that still art category as far as our special illustration rares. This might be the only other one that ends up being in the true artwork to me, the Tapu Koko EX, and the reason for that is the colors. It's just so vibrant and simple and clean. You have a good spacing here for the Pokemon. Nice framing, some geometric shapes rather, a little bit of geometry with the circle there. Just these hard horizon lines right through the middle. Don't ever shoot a picture like that. But, you know, it does seem to work. We have that symmetry of the ground underneath, the sky above, and the wild colors bringing it home. So that's going to do it on the special illustration rares, I believe. I believe that's everything there. Yeah. We're off onto the illustration rares, my favorite category, and I believe that's the favorite category for most people. Now, I'm going to be a little bit harsh when it comes to these, very harsh, actually. I will say, as a general rule, the illustration rares, in this set in particular, are pretty darn good, just across the board. This is 2 pages here, so I got that page, and over here with the remainder. So it's pretty darn good. And when you start looking at the ones that kind of jump out at you, or at least to me, it's the ones that have a lot of color, a lot of action, a lot of storytelling to do in the image. When it has storytelling, I think that's what creates a better piece of art, in my opinion. They do say that a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I think when you get to that, where you have more to say about it, more to show in it, that's where I start to be drawn in. So from that perspective, let's just try to blast through some of these with the very obvious storytelling ones. Vanillish, Magby, those are definite storytellers right there. Loudred, that one's awesome. The Morpeko, excellent. And you can kind of see these end up being a little bit brighter, a little bit more vibrant. Here's that Morpeko. He just looks so grumpy and like the happiest place on earth. I don't know what it is, but the Morpeko there, let's do this here. Let's see. Yeah, he just looks so upset, and he's surrounded by all the candy and fun. It's like a kid at Disney World, right? Just, you know, you're in the greatest, happiest place on earth, and they find a way to be upset about something because, you know, it's a tough day out there, being going all day along here. So I really like that Vanillish. There we go. I said another one. Where are you at? I believe it was Magby. Just running through the little pool of lava, being all happy and having a good time. All right. Artwork. Oh, man. Let's grab some neutrals. Joltik, Wimpod. I don't know if it's the Pokemon. I don't know if it's the art. Those two are pulling neutral for me. Aegislash, same thing. Blitzel. All right. All right, let's do this. Let's do this here. We're going to put you up in this way here. Joltik, you're in the neutral. Eek, that's pretty far down. That's pretty far down the totem pole here to be going in a neutral. Aegislash. I did say another one, didn't I? Gotta run back and look. Wimpod I didn't grab. And it is a little bit easier to tell why my eye feels that these are more neutral. Very plain palette top to bottom, not a lot of depth. Joltik might be the only one that really, you know, has a little bit more pep, if you want to showcase that. But I have a few things swirling around. It's art in storytelling, it's art in comparison to the ones next to it. I mean, we have so many here. I don't think that it's fair to say that these are all true artworks. It doesn't seem realistic. And the still art category should have some high marks as well to be meeting that threshold. Right now you can see things are just kind of evening it out here, where these are hard to say one next to the other about being a little bit more intense, a little bit brighter, a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more story, something in that neighborhood there. I think the last couple here we have on this particular page, the Minshuo, I'm butchering the name, sorry, Espartha, those are going to be going into the still art for me. If I can find them. We have you're right here, very good in the still art category. And our Espartha, where are you at? Espartha's pretty good. It's just a little bit busy without telling me much as far as storytelling. I got this like crazy sky landscape-ish, too much happening without enough being said, I guess. Just me? That's fine. That's fine if it's just me. Alright, that leaves Minun on here, so we can do Minun and Plusle, right? Where are we at with Plusle? These two are great. And as a pair, you kind of have to see them that way, how they connect here, and it's looking really well. We're going to put those in the still art. I really like them, especially as a pair. Few others of note that we can jump right into still art. Here we go. Starting another row already. Snow right there. Man, it's getting difficult to choose because they're so wonderfully done here. I don't think we have anything left to put in neutral. I don't think there's anything that's going to be in the not going to last in these, just because the set, again, is so huge that if we ended up being really nitpicky, it'd be really tough to push these things down. The artwork is just so phenomenal. We have a few that are just kind of speaking to me as I narrow this down. And you can start to see a trend on the chaos, the quality of colors, how things start to line up and meet one another here. I'm going to do something a little bit risky, I think, with the Yveltal. Toss in the still art. And we've kind of narrowed things down quite a bit. So let's take a quick look here at what that means. As far as artwork, there's just several that really pop and show up. Groudon, mistaken about that Iron Valiant EX as far as price point. Groudon's really jumped up. Beautiful storytelling, right on the coast, all the lava coming down, really intense stance there, roaring out. There's so much happening in this one little shot. So Groudon is speaking to me as going to be an artwork. I love the way the colors come around here. This could have easily been a Staryu card, and I would have loved it just for that, because of how isolated in the blue, that yellow pops. Again, a good contrast, showing off Staryu, but Veluza coming in as an artwork for sure. Porygon Z, I thought this one from the beginning looked fantastic. Porygon, the whole line doesn't get a lot of love, so Porygon Z getting this kind of love is really nice. Iron Jugulus, this one, kind of simple, but it's got this cool 50s vibe here with the neon. I don't know. And you got the popping neon colors coming off of our Pokemon here and soaring through the sky. So really great artwork there. Swablu, a classic, a simple, easy one. Sitting here with all these Wingles, just hanging out on the perch there, just chilling. Really great looking stuff here. Minor, just coasting through the sky, shooting down like a meteor. It's fantastic. Toadscruel, looking awesome. How dramatic with the length here of the tentacles, the length of these trees in the background. Very cool. Mantike, same kind of thing. You have a nice scenery in the foreground here, a whole big storytelling, being out there, in a submarine or something, or in a lab, just looking out at the Mantike, just popping in the window. Garbodor getting the love it finally deserved, being the pile of garbage we all love. and just enough chaos, enough of a clean palette to really put this one and elevate it. I mean, look, it's going almost $7 per the card, so that's pretty fantastic. Steelix looking great, showing how big Steelix is, standing up next to a 4-story skyscraper here, chilling out. I'm guessing they're going to build on top. I don't know, 1, 2, 3 here. Maybe there's a basement. I can't count. Whatever. Iron Moth. Very simple, but there's a lot of depth here, and the colors. Again, the colors are popping. Let me take a closer look, because to be honest, maybe this one's not going into the amazing work of art. I actually have trouble with this one. You know, the chaos of the Giratina from Lost Origin, the chaos of the Magikarp when we get to Paldea Evolved. Yes. But this one here from Paradox Rift, it's like, it's not a good kind of chaos. Does that make sense? It's a little bit chaotic and unfavorable. You're going into still art. I think we found him, though. The rest of these are going to be hitting hard for me there to say we got to go up here in the true artwork, which creates quite a list of true artworks. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But again, it's just an opinion. And I actually like to take a look and step back, because sometimes when you view an artwork close up, you can get a lot of great detail. But when you step back and you see it just for this tiny little thumbnail, you can get a good snapshot of, man, that's really good, or something's not working for me. And these give you the simple visual cues, the different styles of framing, symmetry, you know, colors and contrast, how they use it. But as we step back and seeing this chart here, I think it becomes apparent that the true artworks all have a similar feel, something in common there that really brings it out. And then you go into the still artwork, they are elevated, but there's something lacking. It is behind, and it could be taking so many things into consideration. Again, this is subjective. So you take a lot of things into consideration, like this set in particular. If we did all illustration rares, would they all stack up? These here stack up into true artwork? Maybe not. Maybe they'd be competing for that spot. I've judged a lot of photography competitions over my life. When I was a professor for teaching photography at a college, that was one thing we did every year. We'd have massive contests, critiques every week in class. So this is not something new for me, but you step back and you start to see that tier list makes a lot of sense. For true artwork, they kind of all feel together there. The Cyclizar is just kind of sitting awkwardly. I think that looks better. Cyclizar went down to still art. It just wasn't holding up there, and it might be the colors, it might be the drama, it's this contract, all these softer palettes here, these easier colors, those are also fitting there, but it feels like a nice group. These all make sense as a group. This all fits together as a group, and you can kind of go on from there. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and just what's your favorite artwork out of Paradox Rift? What's your favorite artwork out of Crown Zenith? You might have a chance to pull it in this tin here, the Galarian Articuno tin that is going out to one lucky winner, 2 3-pack blisters from Stellar Crown, and a mystery prize, Pokemon mystery prize, headed out to 4 winners total. All you got to do is go back to this video here. That's where you want to make sure you do a comment. Tell me you came from here. Tell me your favorite artwork. That's fine. Whatever you got to do. I'd love to have your opinions on this video as well. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Once we hit that 2,500 subscribers, that's it. We are sending this off to those 4 winners. It'll be announced. Get your info. Get it to you anywhere in the world. Let me know. I just want to make sure anybody has an opportunity for this one. It's a big lift to be building a channel like this. And with your support, that's the only way it's going to happen. So I really appreciate it. I want to make sure everybody who's a part of it has an opportunity. So that's going to do it for us this week on our Wednesday Works of Art here on V-Rule. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.